Welcome again to navigating our TCC databases at our library. This is just a quick tutorial to kind of focus your attention on a couple of databases that you could use for this particular project, our research essay. As we discussed in the video, we're going to be mainly focusing on those popular research articles. Those are things that you're going to find in different periodicals and newspapers that are usually or typically published for the general public versus the scholarly articles that are published in a specific journal that is for a field of study, peer-reviewed. We're going to focus more on the popular article side. Um, Also remember that in order to find your sources or choose the sources, they will need to come from the TCC library databases. So it'll be important to really engage in the process of navigating these. So to get to our TCC databases, and I realize this is a review, but you're going to go to the TCC website. So you can just click on tcc.fl.edu. And once you're there, you can click on resources. From resources, you're going to go to library. And then once on library, you're going to click on the A to Z database link. From here, you'll notice you have lots of choices. I'm going to narrow our focus just a little bit to show you a couple of the databases that you can use, but because our topics are more on the news and current side, we can go ahead and click on the tab that says News and Current Events. What you'll notice is that you have a couple of windows to choose from. You've got newspaper databases, current issue databases, and then historical newspapers. So I'm going to show you a couple of different places where you can search. First one being this national newspaper. As you'll notice, this says it's key national news, including New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, LA Times, Chicago Tribune. Archives date back to the 1980s. So that certainly falls into the realm that we're looking for. So if you click on that, it's going to open up your search fields. Now, what you're going to notice, as we saw in the video where we were finding and evaluating sources, you'll notice that you've got some search fields, you've got your booleans and or not. You can add rows if you wanted to add more search or key terms to help either broaden or narrow. What you want to make sure you do is you want only full text. Now notice what you can do is you can designate the publication date. You can do all dates, the last 3 years. You can even specify a date range that you would like. Remember, you can also use some limiters. If you know of a specific author or heading or title that you want to look up, you can note them here. In this field, you can designate the source type. So for example, you can designate that you only want it to look at magazines and newspapers. You are able to search through all of these, just keeping in mind that you would need to determine their credibility and relevance to your topic once you found them. Document type, I would designate article. I would probably stay away from books only because of the time frame that we're working in will not probably warrant the ability to engage with an entire book. You could click news. Again, you can come through here and just designate. If you wanted to leave it blank, it's going to pull up all of the different sources, which means then you would just go through and find out which ones work best for you. You can select the language that you would like or just leave it blank. It will default to English. All right, so in your search fields, you would put the search, let's say COVID-19 and vaccine. Let's just say you were working with or focusing on whether or not the vaccine should be mandated. Let's say required. Okay, so now I've got some key terms. I've given my booleans. I might even put here or vaccine or required, and so that I can get a specific sense on what is happening. I'm going to leave my date range open because it is a fairly new topic, so I think that I'd be able to designate, whoops, all dates. Okay, so now what we have is we've got lots. Let's see, it came up with 11,390. So you would want to begin to think about where you want to start looking. So for example, if you want to start looking at, you want to exclude, let's exclude the audio and video works, and that's going to cut it back a little bit. Okay. So now we're dealing with newspapers. We could even exclude a little bit more than that, and let's say exclude blogs, podcasts, and websites. And now we're dealing with just magazines and newspaper articles. So from here, what you do is you begin to do kind of like a super skim, right? If you know that you're looking for both sides of the argument, then what you would need to do is either you can click on details and it'll list, there may be an abstract to it. This one doesn't have an abstract, which means that you would want to begin to look at one, the title, right? And then once, if the title is something that seems like it may have something in there, you would come in here and you would do a quick skim, right? So let's just say, for example, this is an article you want to go ahead and collect. So go ahead and save it as a PDF. Designate a folder, put a title on it so that you can go back and find it later, because right now you're just in the collection phase. Now what you don't want to do is come in here and go, oh great, I need 4 sources, let me collect these 4, boom, I'm done. Remember, you need 4 sources, 2 from each side of your argument. So you've got to understand the different sides of your argument. So some of your first initial research may be finding out what those different sides of the arguments are, and then coming in and finding out what the different sources are saying about it. Okay, and which means that you may end up going back and refining your search. Okay, so I would say start with this particular database in your research. That's going to help a lot. Of course, you can come back to here and you can choose some of these other databases. They all typically will function the same way to allow you to explore using your key terms in your topic. So again, you would go to our TCC homepage, click on resources, go to library, A to Z databases, news and current events. And again, the one that we just looked at was this one, US News Stream. And that one may get you quite a bit a ways down the road. click on Advanced Search so it opens up this particular window so that you can designate. You want to make sure you get full text. And again, once you, if you decide that that is a source you want, go ahead and download it so you can collect them before you go in and really critically engage. You need 4 total sources, 2 on each side of your debate. And I would say that you are probably going to be looking at, before you even choose which sources you want to critically engage in, upwards of triple that in order to find what exactly that you're looking for. All right, so please be patient and be flexible. Give yourself enough time to not only find the sources that you need, but then to engage with them, critically read the sources so that you can find out what the article's assertion or argument is, what evidence they're using to provide, what side of the fence on your debatable topic they're on, and whether or not this is a source that you would use and why. In other words, what can this source do for your topic? Other than that, I hope this tutorial helped. Please refer back to it as many times as you need. And other than that, happy researching.